Listen, before you even start.
What, I gotta zoom in?
That's the most important. Don't look at my special.
Okay.
That's the most important thing that you need as an E30 owner.
You're right.
I just pulled it off.
Oh man, you made me sign up.
If you don't have AAA Premier.
Yo, just for a little quick background, this guy made me sign up for AAA, and that was the best thing I ever did. Especially Premier. Make sure you sign up for AAA Premier. You get unlimited tolls. I don't work for them, so I'm not even gonna do that. What's going on YouTube? Since, I started that E30 build, I figured, I show some more E30 love. And I decided to stop by my boy Adonis. Adonis is, to me, like an E30 guru. This guy had tons of E30s. His knowledge is crazy. I always hit him up. This is a guy I hit up like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to ask him E30 questions. But the reason why I'm here, because I wanted to show off some of his projects and some of his E30s that he got. And they're pretty unique, and you guys are really gonna like it. So I'm gonna introduce you guys to Adonis, and I'm gonna take it off from there. Let him, give you guys a quick tour of the E30s that he have, and eventually we'll go for a quick ride, see how the car feels. So let's go. Yo, Adonis, my man, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Listen, before you even start.
What, I gotta zoom in?
That's the most important. Don't look at my special.
Okay.
That's the most important thing that you need as an E30 owner.
You're right.
I just pulled it off.
Oh man, you made me sign up.
If you don't have AAA Premier.
Yo, just for a little quick background, this guy made me sign up for AAA, and that was the best thing I ever did. Especially Premier. Make sure you sign up for AAA Premier. You get unlimited tolls. I don't work for them, so I'm not even gonna do that.
Just sign up for it.
Right. So, which one you want to start off with? Matter of fact, let's start off with this one. This
is my favorite, even though it's like the most beat. This one is it's an 88 325 IS. It's actually a barn find, I call it, because I found this literally in a barn in Parkchester, the Bronx. Old lady had it parked back there for like 11 years. It was surrounded by hay.
Wow.
It was under, layers of dust and everything.
Right.
And I brought this one back to life. This was like one that I've been searching for. 88s are my favorite, and we'll explain why. But yeah, this one's my favorite.
Yeah, I want you guys listen to what he explains with the 88, because he's the one that pushed me to get an 88, and mine is an 88. And you're gonna hear the perks of why, because I couldn't break it down to you guys because I don't know none of this. I'm new to this stuff, so once he breaks down everything with the 88, then you'll understand why 88 is his favorite, and also why he told me to get an 88. But back to Adonis. Let me let him do his thing.
Yeah, man. Any of the IS cars, whether it's a 318 IS or the 325 IS, those tend to be the most popular or like the most sought after. With these IS cars, you get the IS lip in the front, you get the IS spoiler in the back, IS side skirts, which we're talking about sport models, so these are the little sport trim features.
Right.
Typically, with the IS cars, you'll get an upgraded sound system. You'll get a 13-button trip computer in the dash, so pretty much it'll tell you your miles per gallon, the temperature. It'll tell you 0 to 60 times. There's a lockout feature. There's a battery feature where it'll shut down the car in case the car is stolen.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff the little trip computer does.
So basically, this is like because of course the M3 is the upper echelon, right? Mm-hmm. So is this like the next best thing you could get to an M3?
Absolutely.
Like the next trim, I would say.
The E30s go really deep. Right. As far as what people consider the top. Like back in the day, the 318 IS was more expensive than the E30 M3.
Really?
By thousands.
Really?
So when it came to a 318 IS, that was what people were going for back then, because it was the lighter car with a high revving motor that was producing about the same horsepower before the Evo M3 and everything else.
Right.
So that was a sought after car. Then now you got, years later, the Evo M3s are the most expensive, followed by just a regular E30 M3.
Sick.
But there's like little features on the IS. You get a rear view mirror that has these little map lights at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So it's like little detail things that when people are looking, you don't see in a normal E30, like this one. This one is also an IS. And if you look inside, right under the mirror, there's a little switch. And you get map lights. So it's a small detail, but unless you're purposely trying to get an IS car, these are features that you're gonna miss out on.
Right.
So the reason why I like the 88 is that people typically refer to these as plastic bumpers. Plastic bumpers come on the late model cars, meaning anything that's after 88, so starting in the 89. But the 88 will give you the late model valence. So you get the fog lights, you get the duct for your brake intake. Going behind there's actually a tube that directs the cold air directly to your brakes.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's a functional air duct for your brakes when you're talking about the sport model. Obviously, you're getting a fog light. You're getting a chin lip spoiler. That's an OEM chin lip spoiler. It does not come with the splitter. The other reason why I like it is you get pop-out windows. Everything after 88, you don't get the pop-out window anymore. So this is having the best of both worlds. You're getting the cool little features of the earlier model. I consider this a cool feature where you get chrome on the trim. Right. Whereas a late model, it's typically just a blackout trim. You get the late model valence, which means if you want to do your body kit, it's easier to find trim pieces and skirts and stuff like that fit. And the last thing is the 88 is when they did the transition over to the late model style tail lights. Right. So you get late model tail lights, early model pop outs, you get early model trim, you get late model front fascia. To me, it's the best of both worlds, and you can still get the IS.
So basically, it's like you're literally on the cusp of the late model and the new models, right in the center.
100%.
And I remember the other thing that you told me about was the bumpers. About what's the difference between the early model bumpers and the late models, and why is the 88 like so like the perfect car in between when it comes to that?
So like a lot of the confusion comes in between when you can change to late style bumper or when you can't. We'll kind of go off on like a little tangent, right? The convertibles were made with a different wheel arch. right?
Right.
The convertibles have a late style wheel arch, so even when they come with the big chrome bumpers, they could actually fit the late model style bumpers.
Right. Okay.
What's unique with the 88 is because the lower portion is from the later style E30. Literally all you do is you take the metal bumper off with that plastic sheathing,
Right.
that little trim surround, and these you put them right on.
So it's basically direct bolt on, no modifications, direct bolt.
There's little guide clips. There's a one that attaches to the body, one that attaches to here, but literally it's plug and play. You slide it on and you automatically have your late model looking 88. Something else that people do is they could French the diving board, what they call the metal bumpers.
Yeah.
Where they drill out the shocks, they compress them down.
Which is what I'm doing.
Which is a dope look. It's real sleek, it's real smooth. Some people will paint the metal,
right.
Other people wrap it in vinyl.
So let me give the guys a.
So, oh my gosh. So, with my car, I have the metal bumpers like he's talking about, the early model. And I wanted to originally do an M-Tech 2 kit on the car, but once again, I'm trying to make this a budget build because, as you know, I'm putting a lot of money into the Porsche, so I don't want to spend, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to cheap out, but you get what I'm saying. But, so the other option was going with the late model bumpers, which is the bumpers that you see on Adonis car right now. And I really couldn't source any of the late model bumpers right now. So
they're hell of expensive. And they're expensive for what they are.
Yeah, and they're very expensive for what they are, true. So the other option that Adonis told me was like, why don't you just do the bumper tuck? And I was like, what the hell's a bumper tuck? I had to go online, like he explained to me, I didn't even understand what the hell he was saying. So I actually Googled it, I went online, I looked up YouTube, and I found out that, like he said, the bumper shocks behind, there's two bumper shocks behind the bumper, and if you actually drill into the shocks and you compress the shock and you get the liquid, like the hydraulic fluid out, it actually pushes in the bumper about, was it like 2 or 3 inches? 2 or 3 inches, and it actually gives you a late model look. It's just that you'll have the metal trim still from the metal bumpers. Some people, they paint over it, some people leave it as is, but looks pretty good. So you're gonna see that on my car when I take it to the body shop, to my boy's shop to get it done. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see the transition between the bumper. I'm gonna show you guys the difference.
Yeah, so but like I was saying, this one is my favorite. I was looking for them, found it in the Bronx eventually. At the time, it was the most I had ever spent for an E30. So I was immediately attached to it because I felt like I overpaid.
Let me ask you a question. Because you've been through several, how many E30s you've had in total?
Conservative estimate, maybe about anywhere between 14, 16.
So this was
owned, all
right.
insured and registered, 7.
So what would you say number is this that you? Is this like one of your early pickups, or was this like?
This one is probably like number 7.
Okay.
No, between 5 and 7.
Gotcha.
Because what I do is, oftentimes when I'm building these cars, I'll buy cars in order to salvage the parts off of them.
Right.
But I always end up with really clean cars. So I'll hold on to it. I actually build the car up, get it running good, make it look nice, drive it around, and then I sell it.
Right.
So there's some in there that I have it just to salvage for parts, or I have cars that I'll buy and I'll flip them just for the profit. But as far as keepers, this is like 5 or 7.
Gotcha. All right, so like, I'm pretty sure the fans at home. Let me.
So I'm pretty sure you guys at home want to see that, the one behind me. And y'all probably like, what's going on with that? I'm gonna let Adonis break it down. Yo, let me tell you, that color is not something I would do. I wouldn't be that bold to do something like that. And when he told me at first, I was like, I'm very open-minded, so I'm not one of those people like, oh, don't do it, I'm a hater or nothing like that. Like, I was just like, cool, I want to see how this works out. And seeing the color in person, the color's sick. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not a fan of pink or nothing like that, but that color is sick. When you actually see the car in person, it draws so much attention, and it's so unique for an E30. You definitely don't see something like this. So I'm gonna let Adonis get into it, exactly what he's done to this car. It's a lot of work put into this car. So I'm gonna let you get to it.
You know what it is? It's a fine line between being cheesy,
right,
or like having that look like you're trying too hard. And I've been building this car for so many years. I was talking with the guys from the shop that I use. This is year number 6 building this car, so it's had many different looks from when I had it stock to when I first found the body kit and everything else. But the background on it is, when I first picked up this car, this was another Bronx find. I just wanted to keep it stock. Then I was kind of on the forums, I was looking around, and like at the time, S2000 swaps were hot because the motors were cheap. So I was like, I'm gonna put an F20C in it because that 4-cylinder motor is like the E30 M3 Evo. It's a high revving 4-cylinder that's forged from the factory. I want to take it to the track. That was my goal. So my boy had a shop in Nyack. Bring it to him, let him check out the car after I have it. I told him what I want to do. I gave him $5 grand. Boom. Let me know when you get the motor. I got some parts I'll bring up next time I see you. So I come up a couple weeks later. I get to the shop. I'm loading my parts out the car. I was like, all right, let me see the motor. I'm excited. And all I see is 2 JZs sitting side by side. So I'm like, yo, where's my motor? I said, you got your motor? Like, where's my motor? He's like, that one's yours.
What?
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want nothing to do with the 2 JZ.
Right.
He's like, you know, I was looking at the prices. They were about the same. I was like, the same? He's like, yeah, I got this one for that and that one for that. If I bought them both, then I got a discount. I was like, so we're doing the 2 JZ? And from that moment, I didn't see my car for about I saw my car, but I didn't drive my car for like 2.5 years.
Wow. Because you was building the
Because we would go up on the weekends, buy parts as I could afford them, little trims, little wheels, and all this other stuff. And about 2.5 years later, it was actually drivable, you know, and I could use it. So I like to mess around, especially if you follow my IG. I'm always like playing with dyeing and color matching stuff. So just a real simple mod. I dyed the center console. I got some M-Tech Motorsport boots made. Something real simple. I got the M3 shift knob because it's got a ZF320 transmission in it. I'm using a Collins kit to adapt it to the 2JZ. So it is a BMW transmission adapted to a 2JZ.
Right.
Fits perfect. It's in the stock location for the shifter. Stock drive shaft. A lot of stuff that you read on the forums as far as the swap goes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you do it in actuality, it's different than what you read. Right. Anyway, some Corbeau racing seats with the Corbeau sliders that fit for E30. It's a very small detail, but I had this mount made for the ECU. It's an AEM V2. It's got little dimples, you know, that are pressed into the side. It's kind of raw and mechanical. I like that look, so it doesn't look finished for most people, but that's how it is. In the back of the car, I had a full custom system made. So if you look on both sides, it's JL 10W7 or some shit like that. 10W3s or 3W10s, whatever. It's like 3,000. It's like 3,000 watts. I'm replacing one of the amps because it's just too much power. The deck has custom speakers. There's more custom speakers around it.
I love the Project Veronica cutout that you did.
And all that lights up. I have LEDs behind the amps. I have LEDs inside the speakers. The Project Veronica, the shop logo, E30, all that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It lights up. Yeah. Listen, man, I'm not young.
Yeah.
I'm no spring chicken. Some of like that early 2000s car modification shit. Like,
and you got.
It's a little bit is still in me. So.
And no lie, like you got, like, yo, the BBS wheels. I mean, BBS wheels on both cars. Yeah. Like, BBS wheels on both cars is like, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time you see an E30 with some nice BBS wheels on it, you're like, it sit right.
Both sets are custom built, and what I do with my wheels, there's an all-wheel drive version of the E30, the 325 iX, that has a different offset.
Right.
And I run BBs on my iXs as well. So the offset is meant to fit the iX perfectly, and then I'll just run a small spacer so it fits on my regular E30s.
Gotcha.
That way I can do the best of both.
And you know, like, I was hesitant to stay with the black, the grills. But seeing them on your car, I think I'm just gonna stay with them. I think once
this like this is like my daily driver, so this one is beat. This is all nice and fresh.
So imagine when I spray mine over,
So when you spray them fresh and they look nice and new, I think black is the way to go.
Right.
Especially with the color you have chosen.
Yeah.
That's definitely the way to go.
So tell us, like, what's going on with the, like, I've never seen that bumper before. So what is that bumper that you got going on right here?
All right, so if you were ever like into the Road and Track and the Motor Trend magazines back in the day, you would see ads like Bavarian Autosport and Turner Motorsport. But one of the ads I remember seeing was BMP Design. They had all these different aftermarket parts for the E30s, and BMP was also a racing team like Turner Motorsports. So this is a vintage kit from back in like 90, 92, 93.
Really?
When they were racing these cars. And a little backstory on that is now they're out of business. I just happened to find an email address for one of the people there. It ended up forwarding the email to the previous owner's son. So he contacted me back and he pretty much told me that they're not available, they're not making them anymore, but he was going to do me the favor and just kind of look inside their old warehouse to see if they had anything left.
Right.
And just to fast forward, he looked into the warehouse and they actually found one set that was left on the shelves.
It was meant to be, man.
It was really meant to be, because what the reason why they still had it is they were going through litigation or something.
Oh.
The warehouse caught on fire, and insurance-wise, they were still, kind of going through that. So he went through it. He found it. It was like the last one left that was clean. They didn't have any molds left. So as far as I know, I got the last BMP design kit, full kit.
Sick.
So
it's a full. Oh, it's the skirts too?
Yeah, it's the skirts, the rear bumper, and the front. Now, what's different that I've done is there was this German company that made a wide body kit, like the Koenigseggs and Zinder and all this other stuff. But they made an E39 M5 wide body kit for the E30. And when you look at the splitter, as soon as you look at the splitter, if you're familiar with the E39 M5, you see it follows that kind of design.
Right, yeah.
Well, because this one was meant for a supercharged E30 at the time, and I'm boosted, it has the same kind of lines.
Same, yeah.
So I was just thinking, I was like, oh shit, I should see if I could find that. And I ended up finding one online, and it's just another vintage part that's period correct. So the kit is original BMP design. The spoiler is also one of these like vintage parts that are kind of hard to find. But when I found it, it was cracked. It was like terrible. So the guy that painted my car, I gotta shout him out, Phillips from Pro Dipper in Long Island City. Phillips hooked it up. He did all the body work to it. He painted it for me, fixed all the cracks, and everything is wired up, and the third brake light actually works. It's got MHW all reds, or some people call them all pinks, but the lights are original. Found those in Canada. And obviously the Euro plate filler, which kind of tells you what's hiding inside the engine bay.
yeah, right. What is a 2JZ? What is that?
2JZ.
What is that?
Single turb.
So let's see what's cooking under here, and then you got to take me for a ride.
So it's this is a completely new motor. I've had a 2JZ in the car for 4 years. Since it's been done. So, well, we'll just call it 6 years because it's been a project since, right?
Right.
Blew the first two motors. One, the first time I blew it because when we put the motor in the car, we didn't rebuild it. We got it out the JDM engine depot, put it in, slapped a big turbo on it, blew it. Second time we blew the motor, there were some issues with the previous person who had built it and tuned it. Now, this is a fully built, fully forged motor, 1,000 horsepower capable, but it's not 1,000 horsepower right now. I have a Precision 6262. I got some 1200 injectors. A lot of good things going on, but essentially it's on a break-in tune. So I can't really tell you what the horsepower is because for break-in it's kind of tame, but my butt says anywhere between 4 and 450. You can be the judge and let me know if you kind of agree. But it'll be on a break-in tune for another 500 miles, and then after that, we're shooting for the stars.
Yes. I got to get some launches.
Yeah. I don't really care about the number, but the problem is you got all these guys doing M52, you got all these guys doing S52 turbo, and everybody's 500, 550 horsepower. I can't be the guy with the 2JZ.
Right.
Like, how stupid is it? Yo, you spend mad bread on your 2JZ. I'll whoop your ass. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'll blow my motor again before you fuck with me with F52. I'm letting you know. Broken axles, differential on the back of that jacket. I'm letting you know.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's got a fully adjustable ground control suspension. One of the unique things is not only did I work with them to build a custom set, which everybody has the opportunity to,
right.
but they did a true coil over rear. So the rear end is not a spring that's separate from the body of the shock. Everything is built to spec. Because I do have the audio, I do have some other little custom trick pieces that are in there. Yep.
Gotcha.
I took my trunk carpet out so I could show. The subframe and the trailing arms have full reinforcements and plates and stuff on them. But I also work with a company called Mason Engineering.
Oh man.
And he built up a whole custom brace that actually ties the subframe and the subfloor in with the chassis.
It's basically, if that's probably familiar to a lot of the E46 M3 guys, because we have a similar setup like that with the E46 M3. This is the first time I actually seen it on the E30, so that's pretty cool. And I rode in this car before, and yo, the suspension is top notch. Like this
So
car
I've
is on.
changed it.
Oh, you changed it?
And it's even better.
Really?
Yes, like now I've got it to a point where I have it tuned, and it's exceptional on the road as it is on the track. So before it was okay for the street, like it was livable.
Right.
But when you got on the track, that's where it really excelled. Now it's exceptional on the street, even better on the track.
Nice, nice. I'm gonna show one more shot of that.
I guess we're about to go for a ride, right? That's what we're doing? That's what we're here for.
Make it happen.
So let's set this up. Let's go. Take you guys for a ride. Your neighbors must hate you.
Sometimes I gotta move it at night, right?
And this is the braking too. This is wild, man.
This is like partial, very partial throttle. That's not flooring it, even remotely.
The car, even on the braking tune, the car feels good. So I can't even imagine when you're at full power you're doing.
Well, you know what? The first time you rode on it, there was a couple of things that were going on.
Right.
That within the past 3 weeks we were able to sort out. You smell fuel now, but the smell of the fuel was more raw, like it was unburnt fuel. And we realized that the plugs were fouled. There was getting too much fuel. It's like, you know, we'd have the key and accessory mode. The pump is a high pressure pump. It's still like flowing the fuel, but the motor's not running. So it's little things like that, and it kind of flooded. So I changed out the plugs. Literally just changing the plugs. I had to get like, I'm making up a number, but it felt like it gave me 50 horsepower. And then with the suspension, tuning, matching,
Last time I was in it, that's how I was feeling. It was like, it was just a hard hit.
So I had the shocks valved, and then I went down in the spring rate. So now it's a 525 spring rate, and the shocks are revalved to match the spring rate.
And what was the spring rate that you was on before the spring rates now?
Them shits were like 7 and change. Yeah. And I went when pretty much like when you call them, you can tell them in plain words how do you want it to feel.
Right.
So I told them, I was like, you know, once upon a time I drove in this Porsche, it drove like this, but I'm going to be on the track. I don't mind compromising my road feel because I'd rather perform better on the track.
Right.
So they go and they do a rate and they say, do you agree with this rate? All right, then they make the spring for you and they send you out a spring. So I was just kind of dealing with it, and it was fine for me, but aggressive for most people if I had passengers.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I'm not really hitting the track like that anymore. Let me go for a little bit more road comfort. Called up the guys over at ground control, explained to them what I wanted to do. They sent it out. I had my stuff in like not even 2 weeks.
It's like. Breaking to my ass.
Just running full billet 4-piston calipers in the front from UUC.
Yeah.
It's a 2-piece large diameter rotor set. I have the chase base break-a-line elimination kit where it takes out all the extra lines and all the soft lines and it replaces it with just a more trimmed down set that totally firms up the brake situation. The stock is rear, the rear is stock,
Yeah.
and I'm just running a Tech Star pad on a power stop rotor. That's cross shielding slotted.
See, I want my car to feel
Like
like well sorted like this. Like this feels like I love how this feels. I think I probably want to go a little bit softer because I'm gonna be on the bags. But like,
you'll be surprised with your back setup. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
feel sporty.
right. 'Cause that's how I want. But my E30, like I've never had an E30. 'Cause even my previous E30, the struts was blown.
Yeah.
Same thing with this one. So it's like I've never had an E30 that was like
Fully done. The
right.
suspension all brand new.
Suspension wise. So
Well,
like,
you know, with this one, it's got the upgraded sway bars from Ireland Engineering. All the end links are adjustable. It's got the fully adjustable ground control with camera adjustment and all that stuff. Control arms are brand new. The tie rods, like everything was replaced. Like the subframes, the bushings, everything under the car was done over brand new.
this is. Yo, I'm good with what this is at right now. Like,
Does that feel about 450?
that's like 450.
The car that weighs like 2,800 pounds ish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because remember what you was telling me with my car, you was like, instead of spending all that money to do the S54, just boost the M50. And I told you, I was like, all I want is like 400. I don't want something extreme.
You're not
you know?
gonna want more.
Yeah.
You gotta be a crazy person like me or some others if you need more than 400 horsepower in these cars, because really you're doing too much. And if you're not happy with 400, then take out a life insurance policy.
I love this car. You did very, very well with this car. Like, I love this, yo.
I put a lot of thought into it because I took time with it. The money thing wasn't so much of a factor.
Right.
You're flying along with your build and everything that you're doing. But I made sure that everything I bought was going to work with each other.
Right.
It was a lot of trial and error because, like I said, the things that you read online isn't necessarily how it works for your car. You don't know what the person before you's done to the car, what modifications they've made. So you just got to start with what you have and build up from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort out the suspension stuff, which is already in process, and then like all the cosmetics, get some like, wheels on there, repainted, whatever, and then I'm gonna start looking at other things like boosting, So, but once I get the cosmetics the way I want it to, and I feel confident driving the car, I love the way it looks, then
This one is like, when you do boost, you can configure it with a standalone however you want. So like the AM, B2 is an old computer, but it has boost by gear. So if you want like that around town drivability where it's not feeling aggressive, like it wants to kill you all the time, you get that tuned into it.
What clutch you got in there?
It's a Clutch Masters FX400. So it's kind of tight. I'm still getting used to it.
What shifter?
It's a factory E36.
So it's,
So it's not even a short shifter. It's just rebuilt OEM.
You mind if I? Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. So with the transmission, being that we're putting it in the car,
Right.
we did the DEPIN service. So it keeps it tight and centered, and it has the shifter rebuild. So it's just OEM bushings. It's the same actual shifter itself.
Right.
Just everything is rebuilt and fresh.
Nice.
That's it. When I first put it in, I didn't realize it was going to align perfectly.
Right. And
had I known that, I probably would have went and did like the Z3 short shifter modification or something like that. But maybe I'll do the IRP or like with the other car. We'll see. I'll do the solid mount.
I'm gonna bring my car by because I got the rebuild kit came in, but you know I want to do a little touching up and stuff, man. I gotta bring it by to you so you can see what the car needs and you can call out things that I need.
That was a long light, right?
Yeah. You know what I want? Because I love when an old car feels modern, like it feels up to date, like. You know, and there's a reason why like cars like these, or even like my Porsche, it's still chasing these new cars like, you know, amazing track cars for a reason. They don't have all the electronics, they don't have all the crazy stuff that comes with it, the technology, whatever, but they so well balanced and they handle so well. It's like, you know, what year is this car?
1990.
It's a 90, so what is this, 31 years old. Oh yeah. It's like I love the way this handles, yo. Like I know there's different strokes for different folks, right? And you'll meet people that love high horsepower, they want to go straight. I'm a guy that I love cornering, and I love taking corners and feeling confident that the car can handle a corner at high speeds, man. And to me, there's no greater feeling. To me, that's a better feeling than doing a straight line.
Feeling confident taking a corner at high speed is everything.
And then the braking is sharp, everything is sharp, and it's like the car just feels, you know, so well sorted. It's like
small bumps, like it was.
Yeah, it feels like in my mind with the Porsche, like with the Porsche, I have the
finally got that feeling.
Right.
I finally got that. To me, what I consider the translation of that feeling.
Especially living in New York. Yeah. You know, any other place where the roads are smooth is like.
I would have kept that set up all day.
Right. And with the paint, like the amount of attention that this guy draws with the paint, it's like everybody passed by there like breaking things.
And it's not even like just young people.
Right.
It's old people, married couples, everybody. It's a conversation piece. Where it started out as something for my kids, it's total conversation piece. Everybody is drawn to it. I love that. Let's talk about it. Let's like, to me, that's, and it all comes down to like E30 community, right? I want somebody to feel like I'm approachable.
Right.
I'm doing this wild shit with my car. Right. I'm not taking myself too seriously. And that rattling is my license plate in the back window. Because I ride with the Euro plate.
Yeah, they saw. Yeah. That's what I tell people. Like, you know you've done something right. And it's funny because it's like the same mentality that Nakai has with RWB. People ask him all the time, like, you know, there's some people out there that hate this, that dislike this, what you're doing in front of cars. And he's like, I welcome negative and positive feedback because it's a conversation piece. As long as it's a conversation piece, I'm doing something right. You know, so I tell people all the time, like, if your car, especially if you're getting a lot of positive feedback,
Like, hey, people were saying stuff about the vibrant exhaust because it's like I said, it's the vibrant in the back.
right?
No, it's a cheap. You're not gonna like the way it sounds. If you ask me, I think it sounds fantastic.
It sounds amazing to me.
It's a 3-inch from. There's a tiny little pad at the bottom of the pipe from the downpipe from the turbo. Other than that, it's 3 inches straight to the vibrant muffler. I think it gives the car such a crazy sound.
And the brakes is like, you know,
You get like that
Right.
coefficient of friction.
Yes.
The tires. You feel the grip. There's no sliding. It's all manual and aggressive. So yeah, that's the 2J, and we still running cool.
look at that. It's not even that. What? Is it between a quarter?
It's not even half.
It's like between a quarter and the halfway mark on the temperature gauge. That's crazy. That's crazy. Donis, man, it's amazing, amazing build that you have here, bro.
Appreciate it.
Amazing build. And
Want to take a ride in this one for comparison?
I don't even care about that one. Yo, nah, man. But both of your cars are beautiful builds, man. And it's like they both are inspirations. And dude, it's like, man. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret doing the RWB, not one bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the amount of money that I'm investing into that car. I know if I even invested half of the money into this,
Into an E30.
into the E30, it would have
you're,
been
You're more than halfway there with the swap. So it's like
right.
it's a couple little things you need, and
Like I said, but now I was kind of, I'm an NA guy. I love NA. I love Boost too, but it's like I always feel like there's more pieces to the puzzle. I know, man.
As long as you do it the right way, you can't cheap out.
But
on
you
those.
know I gotta go Boost now because I gotta keep up. I can't when we roll out to the E30 stuff. I gotta keep up. So
I tell guys all the time, keep your M20 in the car and boost the M20. You'll get 400 horsepower on a stock bottom end.
see what the RWB will keep up. The LS will keep up.
Mm-hmm.
But E30, I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need. Yeah, I got to get that sorted before we start rolling out because I can't let you get all the shine with this pink, man. And then people see you flying by and busting shots and. but this is man.
Glad you like it, man. Listen.
I appreciate you having me, man. Like always, it's always fun coming by here. And you guys see the car. You guys, like I said, feel free to hit up Adonis. Instagram you plug in your Instagram.
Project Veronica _E30.
Just like how you saw in the rear. But I'm a tag it at the bottom for you guys to get it, and I'm gonna tag it into the comments. I mean, not in the comments, in the description below. And
I also run the Tri-State E30 group. So anything that's going on in the Tri-State, I'm connected with all the E30 groups. Everybody's friendly. Everybody talks. Everybody chills.
Right.
But me personally, I do Tri-State E30, Tri-State E30 parts. Project Veronica. Ask me anything, any time of the night. I don't sleep, as you know.
Yeah, me and him are both nocturnal, man. We like owls, dude.
Yep.
We don't sleep. Just looking at car stuff all freaking night.
All day. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yo, you seen this?
You know what? And I think a lot of the other E30 guys that know you, especially in the Tri-State area, and I'm pretty sure outside of that, because everybody I speak to, once they're like, I mention your name, they're like, oh yeah, Adonis, yeah, I know Adonis or whatever. It's like, I'm sure they're happy. They're gonna be happy to see this because I don't think you've really gotten a video to shine to show like, you know, this stuff except when you go to meets or something like that.
And you know, I'm out there, but it's not like they see it every day, so no one's used to seeing it. So when they do, I hope that they get excited for their own builds, not just to see the cars. You know, it's like, you know, give you a little drive to keep pushing and finish your own projects.
So for any of you guys out there that was thinking about doing an E30, grab one now. Grab one now because they're going up in prices. Trust me. You know, from the time when I bought mine, like about 2 years ago to now, the prices jump significantly. Like to find one that's in very good condition, no rust, similar to what I have, they're up there. They're getting up there. So if you always wanted one, this is the time to get one. And you don't have to have all the money in the world. You could gradually take your time to build it. These are very, very nice platforms to build. And as you can see with Adonis, 2 cars right here, that was two completely different builds as you see sitting next to each other. And you can have the conservative build, which is the gray IS that he has, and then you can have this. And both of them are head turners, and they both are very well built cars, also hold their value. So can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And once again, hit up Adonis. He knows a lot of stuff, so you ain't gotta hit me up because I'm learning. I'm learning like you guys. So, you know, and also to you guys that already have one and you guys are, you just need that little nudge, that push to finish your build.
Knock it out.
Yeah, knock it out, man. Knock it out. You see how this looks. You see how this runs. And this is on a test tune. I mean, this is a breaking tune.
This is conservative. I'm really not supposed to bring it over like 5-6 times, you know.
Right.
But
I wish you guys, like, if video doesn't capture how this car feels, man. It doesn't capture how this car feels. So you just got to take my word for it. But when he has it running at full power, everything, I'm going to come back. We're going to shoot another one.
Yeah. Give me about a month to put about another 500 miles in.
Right, because I'm going to catch some outside shots of flybys and stuff.
As a matter of fact, come to to Felix, the Tune Day.
Gotcha. When is that? I'm there. You know I'm there. Adonis, thank you, bro. Guys, stay tuned. Subscribe, comment, whatever. You know how it goes. See you guys later.